I say boom, 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 no waiver about to say way-oh, way-oh. Boom, 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 no let me hear say way-oh, way-oh. I say boom, 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 no waiver about to say way-oh, way-oh. I say boom, 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 no let me hear say way-oh, way-oh. I say boom, 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 no waiver about to say way-oh, way-oh.
What's up, Reign of Terror? Sorry, I'm back again, the less attractive host of this, and it is week 10. This week I have something new for you guys. We're going to not only go through recaps, but also have something new called Boom or Bust, where we go over your waiver pickups since week 2, and we'll evaluate which ones worked out for you, and maybe the ones that didn't work out too well. So here's how this table is set up. You got your player on the left side, the team that picked him up, how many weeks the team owned him for, the amount of points he scored during those weeks, and the average amount of points. So we'll start with Steve Smith. Early in the season, he was a boom for 2 Live Jew. Got a lot of points, but lately, after week 6, he's definitely been a bust, and his average, doesn't reflect how bad he's been doing lately. Niall Davis for me, while Jamal Charles was hurt, he was definitely a boom, averaging 9.9 points, and he was good while I had him. Antonio Gates for the Chode, his average might not reflect it, but that's actually really good for a picked up tight end. I'd say he's definitely been a boom. Phillip Rivers for Demarius Stormborn. He had a bad week last week, but 16.5, that's great. Even for a quarterback, that's definitely a boom. Travis Kelce for Ragin' Ray. He's been consistent. I'd say he's been a boom, kind of on the low end for a tight end, but he's been better than a lot of them. Delaney Walker, his average might not really reflect it, but he's been really inconsistent. He's had a couple high weeks, and when I looked at it, Sloppy Joe's actually was unfortunate enough not to start him during those high weeks, so he's definitely been a bust for the Sloppy Joes. Matt Bradshaw, with Indy's offense, he's been a boom for Will Fork's Cho. He's been consistently putting up a lot of points. Forsett for 2 Live Jew, he's been great. That was a great pickup for the 2 Live. He only used them for 2 weeks, but he averaged 11.7 points, even better than Bradshaw during that time period. So he was a boom while he had him. McKinnon for 2 Live Jew, on the other hand, he used them 2 weeks as well, but this guy's been a bust. He hasn't put up that many points. He's been inconsistent. He had one pretty good week. Asiata, another inconsistent guy. While I had him, I used him one time and he did pretty well for me, but then he kind of fell apart. Hearns for Rams Drool, this guy was definitely a bust. I don't even know if he used him or not, but he only is averaging about 3 points. Eddie Royal, on the other hand, for 3 weeks before he got hurt, he was great, put up an average of 12 points. Andre Williams, Demarius Stormborn got a lot of use out of him. He started him 4 weeks, especially as Jennings handcuff. I wouldn't say he's a boom or a bust. He's, 8 points isn't great, but it's not terrible either. Ronnie Hillman, he was definitely a boom for With My Nipples. He's been the best running back pickup so far, and Nipples used him 4 weeks, 13.6. You can't argue with that. And Odell Beckham for me, that was another good pickup. I ended up trading him away for some value, but he's a great young receiver. So Mohamed Sanu for 2 Live G, that was a great pickup. Definitely a boom for him, averaging 11.4 points while AJ Green was out, and I think he's still doing really well. I don't think anyone expected that out of him. Brandon LaFell's been a little bit inconsistent, but I'd say he's been a boom for Will Fork's Chode because he had a couple good weeks, averaging 8.8. Holmes for 2 Live Jew. He got him off of waivers, number 1. I don't think he used him at all, but he averaged 8.15, not bad. Cecil Shorts for Demarius Stormborn. This is definitely a bust. He was started 3 times before he was dropped, and all 3 times he's averaged 3.1 points. Terrible. Isaiah Growell, he's a great running back. He looks like he has a lot of potential, but in practice, he only put up 1 point. I think Worsby Brady only started him once. Malcolm Floyd for Rams Drool. He started him 2 weeks, and this guy averaged 5.4. Definitely a bust. Anquan Bolden, Rams Drool picked him up, and he's been averaging almost 9 points, but Rams Drool actually hasn't started him yet. So I'm not sure why he didn't start him yet. Trey Mason for Will Fork's Chode, number 1 waiver claim off that. He's only averaging 7.5, but I don't think Chode's used him yet, so I don't know if it's a boom or a bust. Denard Robertson for Sloppy Joe's, definitely a boom. Look at this guy's numbers. He's used them all 3 weeks, and he's put up 15 points on average. That's a great pickup for him. Baldwin for the Dingleberries, averaging 4.33. That's a bust. Darren McFadden for Stormborn, that's another bust. Jeremy Hill for the Antagonists, he's been good since Gio went down. I've used him once. He put up 12.57 on average. Latavius Bryant for Rams Drool, that's been a boom for him. 18.5 on average. I don't think anyone expected that from Pittsburgh's secondary wide receiver.
Roethlisberger for the Dingleberries, definitely a boom. He had 2 really good weeks, and Dingleberry started them both times. Mike Evans for With My Nipples, that's been a boom too lately. And this guy was actually a free agent since September 17th, and nobody claimed him. First match of the week, we have Wilforks Chode beaten With My Nipples. Nipples was actually up on him for a little bit, but if you look at Wilforks Chode, Marshawn Lynch, 4 touchdowns, 40 points, beast mode. Emmanuel Sanders, 19 points. And what's this? The Philly D doing it again, 31 points. As for With My Nipples, Peyton Manning continues to be great. Mike Evans doing awesome, 18 points. A couple other guys not doing too well, though. Ronnie Hillman went down with an injury, only scored 2.2. Julius Thomas is back with 18 points. Bennett not doing so well either because the Bears are struggling. I was surprised that in Week 10 we saw so many teams putting up a ton of points, but where's the beat Brady putting up 117 to Ragin' Ray's 96. All Ragin' Ray's players did pretty good except for Kelsey and Holmes. Seattle D only put up 7. As for where's the beat Brady, Drew Brees put up 20. Wallace, Smith, Murray, Ingram all around 13. And, just consistent. Yeah, that's how you win games. My old man beating me here and taking high score for the week with 136 points to my 114. For me, Palmer went down with an injury and got 8 points. Cobb, Bryant did good for me. Forsett did really well. Hill had a bust week for me. Jimmy Graham, 19 points. Harvin, he was supposed to do good, but you can't trust this guy. Aaron Rodgers, though, and Jordy Nelson, what can I even say? That's just retarded. Ellington, 10 points. Forte, surprisingly low, but that's because the Bears suck right now. And Martavius Bryant, 20 freaking points. Dingleberries move up to 5-5, while 2 Live Jew falls to 4-6. Ben Roethlisberger, decent week. Randall and Bell, not too good, but Julio Jones and Eddie Lacy putting up some good numbers. Cook for St. Louis finally doing something. That was a good week to start him. Joe Flacco, that was probably a bye week fill-in. Kelvin Benjamin putting up a ton of points. Alshon Jeffrey and McCoy were surprisingly low. Dixon, Buffalo's replacement, probably another bye week filler. And some guy named Rivera for Oakland got 12 points for 2 Live Jew. In our last matchup of the week, we have the Sloppy Joes taking a crap on Demarius Stormborn. Matt Ryan, 15 points. Brandon Marshall, 17, even though Cutler sucks. Jamal Charles, 17. Gore, 14. I'm surprised at that. And Delaney Walker went down with a concussion. Andy Dalton, oh God, he could have spiked the ball every time I heard and actually got a better quarterback rating. Odell Beckham, that's from me. He got 11 points for him. And Larry Fitzgerald from Brian, 12 points. And Andre Williams, Bush. No one else really did anything. Vernon Davis continues to suck.
So that was the Week 10 recap. Next week I'll do power rankings again, and then the following week I'll do a boom or bust, but I'll do it for trades this time, so we'll see how that worked out. And speaking of trades, the trade deadline is this Friday at midnight, so get your trades in. If you want to complain, Austin, maybe you should trade more and try and get your own value. Also, Yackle, $50, pay up.